Hi, I'm Beth. This is going to be a slow and gentle yoga routine specifically designed for those who are first starting yoga age 50 and above. I'm 55 myself. I started yoga in my mid 30s. Still, when you're getting older, you can do yoga. You might just like a practice that helps introduce you in a way that's a little bit more gentle. So, we're going to be doing a chair yoga practice, not all seated. Some will be seated, some will be standing, and an optional relaxation at the end on the floor. If you'd like, you can stop after the standing practice and I'll cue you then. I'll put the timestamps down below so that you know what's in this video and you can plan your own routine based on the time you have available that day or what you'd like to focus on. You will need a sturdy chair to get started. No arms is preferred. And I have a blanket here. If your legs are short or don't comfortably reach the floor, when you're seated, I'll just turn sideways to show you, you might want to have something under your feet, something solid that you can press your feet down into. I'll also show you an option for using the blanket for relaxation at the end. Let's get started by coming a little bit to the edge of the chair. Step the feet about hip width apart. That's where your front hip points are. And the feet are a little bit ahead of the knees, not too much, enough so that you feel really strong and stable in your seat. You might want to scooch around on your bottom so that you can feel your sits bones. Those are those bony protuberances at the bottom of our pelvis. Really connect with the chair. So we're trying to find a strong, upright posture to begin, one that helps us feel long in our torso without feeling stiff. In yoga, we're always finding a balance between a steady and effort practice and also a comfort practice. And then I have my hands just resting on my lap. You can too. In these first moments, we're going to do a little bit of breath observation. Breathing is one of the most basic parts of yoga. It helps us draw in our mindful attention to our bodies. You can keep your eyes open, or if you're comfortable, you might like to close your eyes. Start to bring your attention and awareness inside. And begin to notice where the breath seems most obvious to you. So as you breathe in and out through your nose, you might feel the tickle the air on your upper lip, around your nostrils. Perhaps you can feel your chest rise and fall. And maybe you feel something lower, something more in your abdominal area. So let's take a moment to place our hands on our bodies so we can start to strengthen that mind-body connection and really try to increase our awareness of the breath. I encourage you to place both hands somewhere over your upper chest, right in your heart center. Continue to breathe out, in and out in a natural, comfortable way. Perhaps you start to feel a rising and falling of your hands as you do this. We're going to slide our hands down to somewhere the abdomen, just above or just below the belly button. Can you feel that same breath movement? So we're not trying to make our belly puff out, just like we weren't trying to make our chest puff out. We're searching for that natural movement that's probably already there. We're bringing more awareness to it. If you like, you can keep one hand on the front and place the other hand, I like to use the back of my palms, somewhere in the back lower ribs. See if you can feel your inhale, exhale in your back body too. You might have greater awareness of this if you take the front hand away. Just focus your attention on the breath in the back body. Last little bit, we'll place our hands somewhere on our side so you can let the elbows come out. We breathe in and out through the nose because the nose naturally helps filter the breath. However, if for whatever reason that's not comfortable for you, try breathing in through the nose and then letting the breath slowly come out through the mouth. Making a little ha sound like that can add in some relaxation. Let's all do that about 3 times. You can keep your hands there or rest them in your lap. Breathe in through the nose. Your own pace. In again. And last breath in and out. Okay, so we'll start the movement part of our practice, sometimes called asana. Asana is physical movements in yoga. Still keep that breath awareness in the background as you're moving your body in different ways. So we're going to take our body through a little bit of rounding and back bending. This is called a cat-cow posture. We'll start in a really small way, more like kitten calf than cat-cow, and then we'll gradually let the movements become a little bigger. So with your hands on your lap, on your legs, begin to slide your hands a little bit forward toward your knees. And as you do that, let your shoulders come forward, let your chin start to come into your chest. Feel a little rounding in your upper back. And then start to reverse that by drawing your hands back. You can let your hands come all the way up to your upper thighs, maybe your hips, drawing your elbows back, your shoulders back, your chest forward, a little bit of look up into a back arch. A few times like this, again, following your own pace. You can also add your breath pattern by breathing in as the elbows come back, shoulders pull together, chest expands forward, and exhaling through the mouth if you'd like as you round. One more round like that. And then let's see if we can add a little bit of a larger movement. Slide your hands back. And this time you might want to reach for the back of the chair if that's accessible, or you can simply wing your arms back. Again, let your chest come forward, spread across your collarbones, draw your shoulder blade on your back, tip your tailbone back as your gaze comes up. You're forming a cow or a C in this direction. This is your back arch. And start to reverse that by bringing your chin back toward your chest, tucking your tail under, sliding your arms forward, and maybe even reaching them out and away, finding the C for cat in the reverse direction. And we'll do 2 more here. So hands come back, arms reach back or grab onto the chair for support. Your reverse C, your rounded front body. That's a back bend when we round the front body. And then we come back into our cat, rounding the back body, and that's a forward fold. Last time with breath, if that works, breathe in, expansive breath. Take all this air into the front body. And exhale through the nose or the mouth. Come back through to center. If you need to readjust at all, find your way, go ahead and do that. So we move the spine a little bit front and back. we're going to move it a little bit side to side. That's called a lateral stretch. So I'm mirroring your movement. When I say right, it's your right side. You might notice that it's my left. So take your left hand across to the opposite thigh and grab wherever you can grab. Grab wherever you can get a comfortable hold. You'll notice that that might turn you a little bit in that direction. We're going to try to keep our body more forward, so our shoulders in the same plane. Reach up with your right arm. And as you reach up, feel that movement come from those rib cage areas, that area where we breathed into earlier, through the armpit. When I reach up with my armpit, I feel like I can reach a little higher. And then still anchoring with our left hand, we're going to start to lean over to your left. So no need to tip, and we're keeping our right hip grounded on the chair, so we're not letting that come up. That's part of the reason why we're anchoring with this opposite hand. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, you can sit back up and release. Do that the other side. Right arm comes across, finds an anchor, a comfortable place with your shoulders still facing front. Reach up with the left, reach tall with the left, and then see if you can use not just your fingers, but your side ribs, your armpit to get any more lift tall. And then we start to lean. And as we lean, we breathe into the area that we're targeting, the area we're stretching, all on the left side body. One more in-breath. And exhale, come up. We'll do it one more time, either side. This time we'll move with the breath. So let's breathe in, reach the arm across. Exhale, reach that arm up tall. Take another breath in as you reach over to the side. Exhale, reach back up tall. And breathe in, come down, other side. So breathe in, reach across with the arm. Exhale as you reach up with the opposite arm. Take a breath in as you reach over side. And exhale as you reach back up, come back down. Now, if the inhale and the exhales coordinated with the movement gets too complicated for you, that's completely fine. Let go of following the inhale, exhale, and just follow the movement. All right, now we're going to take a little bit of a twist. For this, we'll take our feet a little wider apart. So you can have your feet parallel, maybe toes pointed a little bit out to the side. And for our twist, we're again going to reach over. This time we're going to let our body turn as we reach over. So take your right hand, reach over to the left thigh, and feel that your body is now starting to turn. Try to let that happen from the belly button above. So in your thoracic spine, that's our area around the ribs. And you can also put your hands around the ribs to help feel that twist action happen. And then your left hand can hold on to the outside of the chair, the side, perhaps the back, wherever it can comfortably grasp onto. You can use that hand to really gently help you move into the twist. In fact, you can push down gently into both hands, feel that action of the body growing a little taller. And then maybe there's a little bit more room to spin over to your left. Your head can stay with your gaze looking at me. Your chest can be in line with your chin, or you can turn and look over your back shoulder so long as that's okay with your neck. One more breath into this twist. You can use your hands to help you come back around to front. Take a moment here. It's helpful to take a full in and out breath when we come back to center before going to the second side. So a little bit of regroup and recenter. Okay, now the left hand comes across the thigh and you'll feel your torso moving with that as you turn in that direction. If it feels like there's too much spin, bring your legs a little closer together so that there's not as far for your body to go. Start to turn around the rib cage toward your left, toward your right. finding a position for your right hand where it's an anchor, it's a little bit of a guide. That might be on the side, it might be on the back. Press down gently into both hands and feel how that energy helps you get your torso a little bit up taller. Explore where your neck feels comfortable. Turn back toward me with your chin centered on your chest. Looking over your back shoulder. The other option is to actually look over your front shoulder, just a little bit different variation on that twist. I'm going to look over my back shoulder for one more breath. And then we'll come back around to front. We've moved the spine in every direction that it moves, forward and back, side to side, and twisting. We'll try one more twist, and this one adds a little bit of a balance element because we're going to lift one knee. If this isn't where you are today, you can go back to the twist that we just did, or you can skip to this part, and again, I'll put the timestamps on the bottom. The next section that we're going to do is the standing section. So find the original seat with your feet about hip width and maybe a little bit away from you. You might like your feet a little bit closer to you for this version, and you'll have to play with that little trial and error. Both feet solid to start. And then we'll start to lift the right foot off the ground. No need for it to come high. A little hover of the right foot, and you can hold with the thighs. So this is a lot of effort here. You probably feel that we're asking our hip flexors on the right side to do some work. We also have the option of taking this into the twist, keeping our body really tall. And then I'm going to take my left hand around the thigh and actually use that to hold the leg a little bit as I twist to the right. And here we'll only stay for one full breath. You might feel some cramping here. I am. As you exhale, start to spin back around to front. Take that leg down. You can do some gentle single leg windshield wipers if there was any cramping there. And we'll try the second side. All right, so ground into your right foot as you start to lift the left, and you can definitely use the hands to help. You can grab onto your pants. You could also place a towel or something else to hold under this leg. And again, this is a great place to stay, and you're getting a little bit of balance work. Or breathe in, use the area around your thoracic spine, your rib cage, to twist toward your left. Holding here for one full breath. And then spinning back around to the front. Okay. Foot comes down. So the next sequence is where we're going to do a little bit of work standing. If right now you only want to focus on the seated practice, you can stop here and then you can skip ahead to the end. We'll do a relaxation, and that will be either seated or lying on the floor. I'll show you both options. If you'd like to join me, come up to standing. All right, so here we are in our standing position. I've got the chair with the seat of the chair faced toward me and the back faced away. You can do it either way, and in fact, I might flip it around partly through to show you the other option. We'll start this way though. We're going to do a combination of a lunge and what's called a pyramid pose. For this, we're going to turn to the chair. So you can turn sideways to the chair, and I'll do matching left-right cueing for this. So with your right foot pretty centered on the chair, step your left foot a little bit to the left side of the chair. So you're in this staggered position. Your legs are in a front-back V, and you can take them as wide apart as you need to feel stable. So if this is feeling a little unbalanced, step one of your feet a little wider. If it's feeling too unbalanced front to back, step the back foot in a little more. And then we're going to take the hands right at the hip creases, pointing them, the fingertips in like little mitten hands. That is where we're going to start to hinge. So we're going to send our bottom back, hinging at the hip creases, Keeping the legs long and straight or straight-ish, a little softening of the knees is fine. And then we'll take the hands, we'll still crease here at the front of the hips, but hands can come to the back of the chair or to the seat of the chair, wherever you can comfortably hold while feeling like your back is staying long. So my spine from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of my head is long, although you can let your head release if you'd like. What I'm trying not to do is come into a cat position where I'm rounding. I want to get a stretch for my back and also a stretch for this back leg hamstring. If after being here for a minute, I'm probably about a third of the way down, you start to feel like there's more room to explore, you can lean a little further, always keeping your hips going back, your torso and front body facing forward. One more breath in here. And press strongly into your feet. That helps you root down to ground, to the floor as you rise up to tall. And change that up slightly and do a lunge. So for this, I'm going to step my back foot back a little bit more. Now you can still have your back foot planted. You might want to turn the toes out a bit. Or if you'd like a little bit more balance challenge, you can come up onto the ball of your back foot so that the heel is raised. We're going to start to bend the front knee. So this is our lunge. Now, if this is already feeling really stable, this is where you might want to have the chair more turned toward you so that the back of the chair would be right here. Or we're going to try a little bit of lean forward in our lunge. So this, you might feel more of the work in the outer glute of the bent leg. Last breath here. Push into both feet to stand up. Take the feet together, and we'll do it on the second side. I'll show you it with the back of the chair turned toward me, just in case you like that option better. So this time it's your left foot that's centered, pretty centered with the chair. Right foot will step forward. So I probably have my feet a little wider than hip width apart. You can adjust that depending on how this feels. I think I'll need space to step my back foot back a little more. That feels okay for me, so I'm going to do that. Remember our mitten hands in our creases. We start to hinge forward, sending the hips back, keeping the both legs straight or straight-ish. And now I have the back of the chair conveniently right here that I can hinge forward. I stop at about a third to see how this is feeling. And then maybe I can go a little further. Now you might find that you actually can rest your front body a little bit on the chair. Mine doesn't quite reach, and get support that way. You might also be able to access the seat of the chair from this position. Either way, you're keeping the back long. To do that, you also have to have some tone, some engagement of your front body, your front abdominal, so we're not going into a cow pose. We're keeping things active and strong. And you can use your hands walking up the chair to help you rise back up. We'll adjust the feet slightly for our lunge. I'm going to step my back foot back a little bit more, so I'm on the ball of my back foot. Start to bend my knee in line with my ankle. And yeah, it's definitely easier to do the upright lunge with the chair this way. So with the chair this way, I can practice sending my heel away from me, even though my back leg is still bent. So there's a tendency to curl the back leg under a little bit. You can let that happen so that you can get your shoulders over your ribs, over your hips. And then once you're in that upright position, try to move the back heel away from you to straighten the back leg more, engage with the front of the back thigh. And optional, we take a little bit of a lean here in our lunge. Hold for just one breath. Use the chair to help you back upright. Step both feet in. All right, we'll do a couple more poses with the chair. We do a little upper body stretch, downward facing dog chair version. I like the higher edge of the chair here, so I'm going to keep that right there. This time I'm going to start to step my feet back. My feet are now parallel and about hip width, and lean forward so that my hands can make contact with the chair. Once you have contact, you might want to step your feet back a little bit more. We're hinging from the hips in the same way. So right there, my back isn't rounding. And this might be your version. You can also do this against the wall if you want to keep your hands a little higher. If it's doable for you, you're going to start to let your heart melt more toward the floor, moving your hips back and away. Seeing if you can have your ears more in line with your arms so that you're like this upside down L shape. So in downward dog, the emphasis is on having a long spine and also getting some stretch to the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Last breath here. And we'll start to slowly come up. You find that you have to gradually walk your feet back in. Our last standing pose is going to be a little bit of standing balance, and we're also going to challenge the brain by doing this asymmetrically, working one side and the other. Stand maybe at about 6 inches, a little bit further from the chair, with your hands resting on it lightly for balance. Slide your right foot a little ways back, maybe about a foot back, and once again you're going to be on the ball of your foot. Notice whether as you step back your hips turn out in that direction. We're going to try to keep our hips forward. So we'll stay symmetrical in that way even though our legs are staggered, and then we're going to stagger the arms as well. Keeping your right hand resting on the chair, move your left hand forward and away. Now this is a place where you can practice right here, or you can explore the range of your arm and your leg. So I have my thumb up. I can explore lifting my arm any amount, maybe to as closer to my ear like in the downward dog. That actually doesn't feel so comfortable for me, so I'm going to keep mine at about a 45-degree angle. And then you also have the option of exploring a lift of the leg. So right hand stays anchored, left leg might soften a little bit. You might get simply a little bit of float in that leg, or you can lean more into that right hand, take a little bit of a hinge and stretch long. So I'm pressing my right heel out to the back, reaching my left hand away, trying to get this long stretch. I'll breathe in one more time, and then exhale. Come back down, and last side here. All right, so we have both hands resting on the chair to start. Start to slide the left foot behind, maybe about a foot, so that you can come into the ball of your foot and feel a little bit unbalanced, yet still secure and holding the chair. And then reach the opposite arm away at about shoulder height to start, thumb up. If this is a lot of effort for you, you can practice here, continue to build strength in this little asymmetrical place, and then start to explore some arm range. It can also feel good to take the arm up and down in that range. Finding a place that feels perhaps a little bit of a challenge, but relatively comfortable to hold. And then I'm going to lean forward into my left hand just a bit so I can unweight the left leg. My toes stay pointed down. And maybe you take a little bit more weight into that left hand, a little bit more lift into the rear leg. And as you lift, think about sending the heel away. So using the muscles along the back of the leg to lengthen that leg, reaching forward with the right arm. One more strong, long breath. And exhale. Whew. Come back down. You might notice that your heart rate got up a little bit there. That's natural. So we're going to take a short rest, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do that. So the first way, and I'll use my chair sideways, is to sit in the chair, and this is where you might like your blanket. Like it simply in the lap, and it'll be a little rest for your arms. And you can change the thickness of the blanket. So this is similar to where we were at the beginning when we found a tall, comfortable pose. And by placing our arms here, we can relax and release the shoulders a little bit more. So we're still staying upright, but allowing a little softening come in with use of the prop. Return to your breath observation. Letting the exhale start to be a little bit longer than the inhale. So you take a natural breath in. Start to slow down the exhale. A helpful way to do that is to take a natural breath in. And then purse your lips as if you're blowing out a candle or blowing out through a straw. So continue that way if you're doing your relaxation seated. If you'd like to try the floor, come down to the floor. Now, not everyone is comfortable getting up and down on the floor, so this is optional, but can feel really lovely if you are able to give it a try. The blanket simply softens the edges of the chair. It's not necessary. Come down to seated with your feet kind of sideways. The hardest part is getting up into this. So you have to kind of lean down to go up. Start to lean down on my elbows as I switch my feet up to the chair, and I have to tuck my toes behind the back. And then as you get here, your knees are somewhere toward the edge of the chair. If this chair is way higher than the length of your upper thigh, you can use something lower like a chest or a stack of some couch cushions. Anything works here. And we let our bodies begin to rest. It's really important to slow down at the end. There are physical practices that can rev up our body, that can give us energy. This type of yoga practice can help us go into a rest and digest mode that helps to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system and to enhance vagal tone. If you know anything about vagal tone, I'll link to some things about that below. You can see one of my practices that focuses on rest for vagal tone also. You can enhance that by lying here and finding a little pillow under your head so that your chin can be slightly tucked toward your chest. Let me grab one of my meditation cushions. Okay, this works. I thought that might be too high, but that's enough so I feel a gentle tuck of my chin toward my chest, a lengthening of the back of my neck. You can rest your hands on your body, by your sides. Let the ribs, the pelvis, the tailbone all sink and support toward the floor. Remember that extended exhale breath. Breathe in and then breathe out long. Let's do one more together. Breathe in. Breathe out long. Now, if you are comfy and cozy, please do stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to start unwinding myself, and to come out, that's how you come out, as you roll onto one side. Use your arms to give you a little boost, help you come back up. So I hope this slow and gentle practice helped to introduce you to what yoga can be like when you're over 50. I actually have a whole playlist of practices for yoga over 50. Give those a try. Give some of my other gentle standing practices a try. Please do comment and let me know what you think. That's so invaluable to me to plan my practices. Have a great rest of your day.